I feel that ultimately more people are good than bad or evil, at least in this country. And there are people who are genuinely want to help. I think the people who will die of starvation in this country is almost unheard of, no matter whether you are a really bad, like a whatever, or you're a beggar. I think there's still people who wants to give. And I think this is a situation that it should further, evolve and expand on this behavior. I hope so, as you rightfully said. And I think if that happens,
Absolutely.
we are in a really good place. But I
No, no,
want to ask
absolutely.
you
No,
this question.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to ask you. So it's great to hear the story that the Australian guy, said, okay, I don't want your rent for 6 months. But what about the guy who can't afford to do that? That is where I think this
No,
entire thing has to, as you said, the ecosystem has to connect together, right?
I think the ecosystem needs to connect. I think in Sri Lanka, clearly we have a problem right now. Right now, the common myth is we can't buy stuff.
You're right.
That's a common myth, right? At least in the urban area. So Sri
Yeah.
Lanka has roughly about 6.5 million households.
Yeah.
I think what I've realized over the last few days as a result of my work with the various groups of people trying to help
Yeah.
plan how to combat COVID
Yeah.
in terms of how our livelihood. I think the problem is not only the fact that there is not enough food or essentials.
Yeah.
That's not the only issue.
Yeah.
Or transportation is not the only issue.
Yeah.
There is also an issue of affordability.
Yeah.
We've got a large segment of our population who are daily wage earners.
Yeah.
I have seen lorries parked with food,
Yeah.
and people just come to the lorry and check, and they don't buy anything. And when you check why that is, they don't have the money to buy. Right? They don't have the money to buy.
Yeah.
So you imagine, how do you now cater to that problem? I know the Samurti institution is doing some work there in terms of mobilizing money across the country. There are various initiatives. I mean, I know Hiru TV and a couple of others are doing various initiatives. But we've got a bigger problem in terms of how do we now help the daily wage earners who completely lost their wage now.
Yeah.
How do they find money to even buy stuff?
Yeah.
So I think that's the reality of the issue right now. And it's all easy to complain that we ordered something and it didn't come for the last 5 days. What the hell is going on? Which is fine. It's all great.
Yeah.
But a bigger population is struggling with even finding the money to place an order to buy.
I think that's a very important point. Interesting and a very important point, Imran, you brought. Because one of the things I also realize at my level, even, I mean, I'm still very blessed that I can afford certain things. Sometimes under these circumstances, when you start buying it, you buy less what is essential. The wastage is saved. So as a result, you have a net saving. But sometimes when you buy, it does cost you a certain amount of money to get it to the doorstep, because there's now a delivery. Because earlier we would have not factored all that in because it was part of the expenses. Yes, we are saving money, all of that. But for me, I kind of, when I compare from before and now, there's a bit more extra money that I have to spend for that, bringing that items to my house for that whatever logistic services. If I'm feeling that, imagine, someone who's on a daily wage, how can they, I mean, you are serious. Again, I don't think there are silver bullet answers. I mean, as you rightfully said, maybe the ecosystem needs to support, right? Come together.
Yeah, it's all I look at, I mean, we talk about technology ecosystems, supply chain ecosystems, to all sorts of ecosystems. But we've also got to think of the whole human ecosystem and how reaction from a certain human being has an impact on the other. I mean, we talk about, I think we talk about this whole thing around how we are so socially connected, where we could connect to anyone we don't know within 4 people. Right? Now, imagine you use that same power to actually understand what's the impact to that ecosystem of 4+ people. Right? Downstream. And is there something you can do to help? Often we look at our network to get something done.
Absolutely.
Right? Or we'll talk to 2-3 people to find a connection to a certain person who are 3-4 streams down the network. But imagine we use that same theory to understand what's happening 3-4 streams down the network in terms of impact of COVID to those people. that's why I think this whole thing around the human ecosystem also matters, especially in times like this.
Appreciate it, man. So we've been speaking for about 30-40 minutes, man. Love to
Oh, wow,
speak to
really?
you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I love the conversation. Last bit, I want to just touch upon, as I said, just because it's the YouTube thing, right? Startups. I heard what is your take on the evolution of these startups during this this level? I'm not talking about the conceptual level. I'm sure there will be ideas that survive, ideas that will whatever. If you already started but you haven't really made it, you are still building it, how do you think you should behave now, and what are the tips you can give as a person yourself who's being part of some of these stuff?
Yeah, I think first look at your end goal, right?
Yeah.
When you build a company, you're not in it for the short term.
Yeah.
And obviously, like in many cases, whenever you build something, you'll always have your obstacles. If not
Yeah.
COVID, there will always be something else, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think look at that end goal, and if you think your end goal still makes sense, I think you should still go for it. Now, the way you go for it might be tough. Obviously during these times. So we've got to think, how do you really, work around this situation? Give you a very simple example. In some of the companies I'm involved in, we've restructured the way we work immediately.
Right. Right.
There were people who wanted to take voluntary pay cuts, which obviously touched me because that's the kind of belief they have in the company.
Yeah.
But we quickly restructured. So we looked at, okay, what's our monthly cost, right? We've got to look at, okay, what's our monthly cost? What's the income that we are supposed to get as a result of the past projects? Chances are that will get delayed. And what's our pipeline for the next 6 months? Chances are that, again, half of that is not going to come. Yeah. So based on that, how do we replan? And we did that.
Yeah.
I think as a startup founder, if you still believe in your vision, if you believe in your end goal, end goal, you obviously want to make a difference in everything, but you've also got to earn the money to do that.
Yeah, of course, you have to survive to see the change, right?
And that's what I keep saying, right? Yeah. While the bigger vision is something else, maybe do something great to the country, great to the world, to the society, the environment we live in. Yeah. Money is also important because you've got to have the money to do that.
Yeah, you have to make it through to that point to achieve it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you still believe in that and you think you're making a difference, you're also going to be earning to be able to sustain yourself and your team.
Yeah.
And to do the kind of things you want, I would say just go for it. But only thing is you can't work the same way you did the 3 months ago for the next 3 to 4 months.
How long do you think
around that
how long do you think this will go on? What is your assessment before we see some kind of a situation report? Because a lot of people are now talking like even middle of May